Hello, Mr. Randy Duck, and welcome back for another video. And today we have a video in the M46 KR, the Season Pass reward tank at level 100. And as the video title will tell you, this is the video where I achieved the third mark of excellence and a couple of really nice games leading up to that. But if you want to see the equipment and crew setup I use in this tank, you can see at the bottom of the screen as I speak. But the first replay we have for you today is on Province, where there is 2 enemy artilleries and 2 enemy light tanks. And we go on to have a really good game in this first replay. So Province, you know, I've said my piece about Province. If you watch my replays, I don't really think this map belongs at the higher tiers. But from this spawn, I'm going to do a kind of play I make a lot from this side. And that is trying to get up and underneath their ridge as early as I can. So all my sort of camping tanks in the sort of on my base there, as you can see on the mini map, will be able to give me assistance damage when I need a target size spot. Because Province naturally is a fairly sort of campy map really, because just the pure design of it, it kind of makes it that way. But it does mean you've got opportunities to pick up quite a lot of assistance when you make these aggressive plays like this. So as you can see there, we've started off pretty well here. We picked up 1,000 assistance already. Unfortunately, we get slapped there or double tapped and lose quite a lot of our hit points, which is far from ideal, but at least we're trading it out with assistance damage. So when it comes to going for the third mark of excellence here, we're on to a pretty decent start. This is kind of a tank which, I'll be honest, I started playing obviously just to get the replays as it was a season pass reward tank, but I had a lot more fun in it than I was expecting to, and I decided, you know what, I might as well free mark this tank because I've enjoyed it and it gives me an excuse to play a tank which I hadn't really played a lot before this tank came out in the season pass, although I did already own the tank. So here at this particular stage it's fairly even. But this game, I'll be honest, goes to a big twist towards sort of the end, and it goes into a situation where we have to try and put our carry pants on. But for now, we've got about 2,000 assistance, about 500 damage, and we're just trying to do the same thing of keep these enemy targets spotted. There are 2 enemy light tanks on the enemy team. We play very aggressively. They probably are spotting our team underneath the ridge there. We do manage to put a shot there and pick up a kill, confirming our second kill of the game. And starting to pick up some damage on this Tiger 2 who's got sort of caught out in the open here. Tiger 2 is a very good heavy tank now at tier 8, so I will try to get shots into that tank when I can. But it does look like the enemy tanks have started to push down the 8-9 line and started to win that side. As you can see, the game's changed, and the enemy team now have a 6 tanks advantage here, and this is not looking ideal for us at the moment, but we do still have cross shots. Like I say, the enemy tanks pushing across, they can't cap out because of the way the cap circles are on Province. You've got lots of ways to get resets, so very unlikely. I'm not really worried about getting capped out. That's probably the one good thing about the map, but I am going to try and just get as much shots as I can when these enemy tanks push through. This game is quickly going the other way. It's 5 versus 9. I guess we brought it back slightly here. I'm going to try and squeeze in shots onto the other side of the map. Nature of Province, I can just shoot the other side of the map when tanks get spotted. That's why it encourages this sort of camping play style, but we're trying to get as many shots in as we can here and into this enemy heavy tank there, and putting us on to about just shy of 2,000 damage here with 2,000 assistance. And this game's sort of been brought back slightly, although it's quickly going the other way. It's back down to a 4 versus 8 again. We are trying to get shots into this enemy mill here. We put 1 shot into it. Can we get another one in? We do. That puts them onto a 1 shot, putting us onto 2,000 damage with 2,000 assistance. And again, this game is still, the enemy team have the obviously 4 tank advantage, but the hit points aren't that much different, so we know there is a few 1-shots on the enemy team. And I'm just going to try and be a little bit patient. I know there's tanks on the other side, but I'm going to try and spot this enemy T-77 so our friendly team can get shots in. But I've got to be careful because I know there's tanks on the other side of the map, on sort of our sort of spawn side, if you like. So I'm trying to be a little bit careful of that. I don't want to get caught out while I try and get shots into this T-77 only to again get shot into the rear and lose hit points, because this is very close nail biting stuff at the moment. We're starting to get a few tanks back now, brought back to a 4 versus 7 because our friendly Dragon manages to kill the enemy KV3 there. And I'm kind of thinking, I'm trying to decide what to do now at this stage, because I'm concerned about the enemy tanks potentially coming on the getting shots into the rear. I know there's still shots over here. I've just seen the enemy, just seen the tracer there. I need to try and take out this T-77, but it's just not a great situation. And then our friendly other tank gets taken out, leaving us into a 2 versus 7. So yes, far from ideal. Enemy light tank comes around. I'm going to try and get a shot in, but again, I'm not going to overextend because of the reasons I was explained. And there's an enemy heavy tank who's now pushed across from the other side and is approaching our Dragon. So I want to try and take out this enemy light tank if I can, because if I don't kill that light tank now, I'm not really going to be able to escape unspotted. Because ideally, I really need to try and get out of here now, because the enemy team know where I am, so they're going to be approaching on us because we're outnumbered. But like I said, I can't really leave with the light tank and the T-77 being here. The only good thing I've got for me is if the tanks push me, our friendly Dragon should be able to get shots in. And then this T-77 comes flying round out of nowhere, and I'm thinking this could be it. Thankfully, I am able to take him out and only actually lose 1 shot of damage there to him. It does put me on 400 hit points, but it has confirmed the kill on the T-77. And I think whilst that happened, our friendly Dragon killed the light tank as well, which is really good news. And that brings it back to a 2 versus 5. And now that more importantly gives me an opportunity to escape. Now I've decided that the enemy team know where our friendly Dragon is and know my last location. I'm going to try and push back across towards our base where we spawned. So I can essentially try and get a crossfire on our Dragon, because where our Dragon was playing in the C2 location, the enemy team have to push him, and if I can get into a position to basically get cross shots in as they push him. The tank which is pushing our Dragon at the moment is a 1 shot, so I'm hoping our Dragon takes him out. He does in fact do that, which brings us back to a 2 versus 4, and is very winnable at the moment, because 2 of the enemy tanks on the enemy team are the Fun Police, the enemy artillery, and then you've got an enemy heavy tank and enemy tank destroyer. I know the heavy tank was sort of on the same side as the Dragon was. That's where it's last spotted. I don't know where the TD is, so he could be on this side, which I'm approaching. But if I spot this TD, it's going to be kind of the same situation. I can cover our Dragon, the Dragon can cover me potentially, and that's what I'm trying to do when you're outnumbered, rather than stay in the same location. Try and just get cross angles on each other. That's my plan. So I was kind of waiting now. I thought this enemy heavy tank was going to push our Dragon, but maybe that's not going to happen. But I am just going to cover him. It looks like our Dragon's moving now, so he might actually spot. And I think, right, I might as well just wait and make sure I've got guns on this tank. So we're outnumbered. We still have time to spare. We still got. Yes, we are losing technically if it ends like this. We have got to get some kills, but we've got a lot. We've got 6.5 minutes, so we've got plenty of time left in this game to make some decisions. I'm waiting for this to see if this Dragon spots anything. He does. He spots this enemy Tiger 2 here, and now we're able to get shots in as he's caught in the open. If our Dragon can just keep this tank spotted, we should be able to put shots into him. He has managed to find a little bit of rock, which is cover, but if he moves backwards and forwards, we should be able to hopefully squeeze a shot in there. Unfortunately, that shot bounces, which would have put him onto a 1 shot, which is a real shame. And yeah, the second shot is a difficult shot, but doesn't hit either. And that's not great, because this Tiger 2 is pushing down onto a Dragon, so I'm trying to get the cover shots in. But now he's got behind the buildings, it's a little bit awkward. I'm trying to find different angles, see if there's any way to get some shots in. And I thought, right, I might actually just try and push up then and go and kill that Tiger 2. But as I did that, I saw tracers from behind me on my side, which means it's the enemy TD. And I need to go and kill that TD, because if I don't, the TD is, you can see he was shooting at our friendly Dragon there. So I'm going to push on this enemy TD, and hopefully I can take him out. And yeah, I've changed my plans to try and take out his TD, but I have no idea how many hit points the tank destroyer has at the moment. We have found him He is a tier 7, but he's full health. He puts one shot in, which puts us onto a one shot, and yeah, this is really not great. I'm trying to use this wreck, thankfully, here to try and protect myself and keep myself, give myself a little bit of hard cover. We put one shot in, put him onto a one shot there, hoping to find a finish off the kill, and we do, and that brings us back to a 2 versus 3, putting it up to 4 kills and 3,600 damage with 2,000 assistance now. Snap a shot into the Tiger 2 there. It should be able to finish off the enemy artillery, but yeah, classically we do track assistance there, but finally we were able to finish him off, which brings up our 5th kill of the game. Unfortunately for me, our friendly Dragon does go down there, but our Dragon, you know, he was put a valiant effort in there. And it definitely helped us with this game here. But yeah, I am now one shot to the Tiger 2, and I'm in a situation where I think the Tiger 2 is either a one shot or a 2 shot. I can't really remember at this point. He was around. He definitely, yeah, 1 or 2 shot for us. But the other enemy artillery is, I'm guessing, still in their base. So I'm going to try and push over. Like so, I am a one shot to the Tiger 2, and yeah, the artillery probably splashed me. So I've got to be very, very careful. But I'm going to try and completely relocate and see if I can go and kill the enemy artillery. As that happens, the enemy Tiger 2 gets in the cap circle, which, if I'm honest, I'm kind of pleased of that, because now they're trying to cap, I know exactly where they are. And I've got 1 minute 40 seconds now, because he actually got off that cap circle. So I've got plenty of time to get back and try and kill this Tiger 2 here. So I'm trying to go round and swap onto the other side of the ridge. The Tiger 2 actually gets off of the cap, which makes me think maybe he was driving through the cap to try and cross over to us on the other side, potentially. So I'm going to try and swap the ridge, and then now I don't have the time, I don't have the cap pressure going. I've actually got time to find and kill the enemy artillery. So I might as well do that, and then that'll put us into a 1 versus 1. So we won't have to worry about getting shot from the sky, and we can just focus on the enemy Tiger 2. The other enemy artillery was a one shot, and we're able to pick up the kill there, confirming our 6th kill of the game. So we confirm our Top Gun medal and puts us on to 4,000 damage with 2,500 assistance. Tiger 2 does get spotted in the cap circle, and we're looking for the kill shot here. Just quite a lot of covering, but we'll kind of look at this. He is a potential one shot to us now. But with all the sort of damage reduction perks, it is possible that he may be running those, and then I might low roll. So in my average roll, I think I should be able to kill him in one shot here. But like I say, I could low roll, we could be running damage reductions, so it could still potentially be a 2 shot. Either way, we've got the time. He's in the cap circle, we've got a minute to get the reset. We have lots of time to be able to do this. I don't really need to rush this. I should be able to come round, get a different angle so he doesn't know where I'm going to try and get the reset from, and hopefully make it so it's in a position where he's not in any cover, so I can try and get the shot in. He was actually predicting where I was and looking at me there, but thankfully he was already aimed and was able to get that shot in. And we do pick up the win, from going from a 2 versus 7. We've come back, got the win, 7 kills, 4,200 damage, 2,000 assistance, got the ace tanker and the devastator, and the medal for killing both the artillery. And the spotting medal as well, and our friendly Dragon there did a really nice game as well, so shout out to him. But that was it for replay number 1, but we've got 2 more replays to come, so let's move on to the second replay of the video. Okay, so here we are for replay number 2. This time we are on Dougla Pass. It is tier 10 matchmaking, so we are bottom tier, but we are platooned up with our good buddy Pan there in the Carnet. And there is no enemy artillery to deal with, so that's always quite nice. And there's also no enemy light tanks as well. So being that we're in medium tanks and there's no enemy light tanks, I'm going to try and play quite aggressively here, and I'm going to take a position at sort of potentially the G3 position, and try and spot for our friendly team. I've got help, knowing that I've got Panda coming with me, so I've got the 2 mates to try and help me out if the enemy team do try to rush me. And then I also have a few tanks pushing down the 1 line. Like I say, we don't have to worry about the enemy artillery or any light tanks, which is always good. So we've got an opportunity to potentially pick up some assistance as well, which is always handy when you're going for those 3 mark of excellence. If you can get that booster spotting assistance or track assistance just to help you out, and you won't have to get as much raw damage in order to get the requirements for the mark. So here you go, you see me push quite aggressively, and there is an enemy TD in this position who's also played aggressively, and we've kind of opted to go in and try and delete this tank as quickly as we can, because it's going to be in an annoying position, you know, and it's going to be spotting for the enemy team. It's not bad, it's, you know, just play that enemy TD's done. It's just that we've kind of countered it and played aggressively as well, so I was able to take him out there, and thankfully I didn't really lose any hit points, surprisingly, as well, from the enemy team, and that's good because we're now in a position to try and spot and get shots into the enemy team here as they make their advance. So we get 1 shot in the enemy heavy, and we spot a secondary tank at the distance here, so got to be a little bit careful, but we don't, you know, it's a tier 10 matchmaking, you don't want to get shot by any of these nasty tier 10 tank destroyers, but we're just going to try and keep the eyes on the enemy team. Now, an enemy autoloader was pushing Panda there. We do manage to get a shot into him. We need to try and help Panda out because he is taking the brunt of the attack here. The enemy team are trying to focus him out. So I'm trying to turn in to try and help out here. Going to try and get a shot into this enemy autoloader. It puts him onto a 1 shot, and we double tap him together and finish off that tank. I'm now trying to push and kill this enemy medium tank. Unfortunately, I bounced there. And I think an enemy I7 is actually coming behind us, which is awkward, but I'm going to try and kill this medium tank as quick as we can. I ate a shot, obviously I told the Panda that he's fired, so Panda's able to get a shot in, and we can finish him off with our friendly heavy tank as well. Puts us on to about 1,500 damage with 1 kill, and it's still very, very close game at this stage. So we're going to try and go down and finish this 1-shot T32. In the low ground, so I'm hopefully going to be able to, you know, to get a nice kill shot in and catch him off guard here. He is facing our way, and unfortunately we ricocheted that shot. We kind of snapped that in. We're going to have to stop and aim for the next shot. We do pick up a 2nd kill, but now we're getting full sent by an enemy I7. So we've got a top tier heavy sort of pushing into our direction, and things aren't looking great for us, if I'm honest here, because yeah, I'm not going to be able to kill this I7 by myself. I'm going to need some assistance here. We get a shot into him, he puts 1 in, potentially puts us into a 1 shot there if he high rolls, but he doesn't, thankfully. And now we are on a sliving of help, and I'm thinking, oh god, this is far from ideal. I'm not going to go up too much my mark if this I7 kills us, but thankfully my team are putting shots into him here, and if we can take this I7 out, I'll actually be able to escape and get out of there, and then try and get round to the rest of the damage, which is sort of on the other side. Panda does take out the I7. That frees us up from the I7, puts us on 2,300 damage with 2 kills and 8 enemy tanks remaining. I think the most of which are down the sort of 9-0 line, fighting our tanks down there. So we're trying to get over there, but like I said, we are 1 shot, so we've got to be careful. Almost got killed by that enemy medium tank there. Try and get another shot into him, which we do, puts us onto 2,500 damage there, and still with 2 kills. The hit points at this stage is both, you know, even though we have the you know, the tank advantage, and then I get a lovely track shot in there, and hoping to pick up some track assistance. We also set him on fire, and yeah, that boosts us all the way up to 3,300 damage there, and then we pick up the kill on that poor T95, giving us 3 kills now, 3,500 damage, 5 enemy tanks remaining. And they still got quite a nice bit of hit points. You can see our hit points is on 32%. Enemy team was on about 30% there, even though we had a 5 tank advantage. So that means there's a lot of 1 shots, one being me, and I think the other one being Panda. We're going to try and get a nice shot into that enemy heavy tank there, puts him onto a 1 shot, he fires. I'm going to try and go for the kill shot now. Typically the kill shot goes into his tracks, which is always the way. And I need this tank to die because he's slowing me down. I want to try and get closer to the damage, but I can't get there unless that heavy tank dies. Thankfully he does get taken out by our friendly Patton medium tank there, and now we're trying to move on to this enemy S-Bahn here, this FE1005. I'm obviously a 1 shot, I'm 79 hit points, and he can just splash me, he doesn't have to pen me. Hoping that he's not going to want to fire at the 1 shot tank. He's probably going to try and want to get a bit more damage, considering he's He's going to die here. There's nothing he's going to really do to stop this once he's fired, which he has. And now we're going to try and kill him. We should be able to kill him before he actually reloads if we're lucky. We put a shot into him, and yeah, now I'm thinking, oh god, he hasn't dead. Is he actually going to get a shot into us? We bounced the kill shot, which is never ideal. But then he does get taken out. We're on about 4,000 damage. There is a full health Avery here, so still more damage. Again, you know, the Avery does not have to pen us. He can just splash us. But like I say, you'd like to think he'd try and shoot some tanks here, which have got a bit more hit points than 79. To try and get a bit more damage out of this game, because I'm pretty sure we're going to get this win. Although the hit points of our team is still fairly even. We're going to have to get a couple of shots in this Polish heavy tank here. We've got one shot into his turret while his turret was turned. Get a second shot in, puts on to about 4,400 damage. And we're actually getting, you know, quite a few damage, more than I thought, into this heavy tank here. We actually managed to get like 5 shots in, which has boosted us all the way up to just around about 5,000 damage here. We're going to try and move in and get a couple of shots onto this enemy Avery if we can, or onto this other enemy heavy tank there, and just get as much as we can. We're definitely going to move, you know, a decent amount now on the mark of excellence. So we had a really good game, especially considering we are bottom tier. Unfortunately, that shot bounces. I was hoping to track him in place and get some track assistance, but we get one shot into him, putting us over the 5,000 mark. Can we squeeze in the second one? We do, and that brings us pretty much to an end on this game. There's only one tank remaining, enemy heavy tank, who is hold down to us. Like I say, we're not going to lose this game now. I'm just going to try and risk this. If he shoots me, yeah, you know, so what? I like to think we'll still get the win, but I need to try and get into a position where he's not hold down. So I do that. Unfortunately, I ricocheted that shell, trying to get into cover. He just shot and fired, so he's on reload now, and I'm going to just try and get one more shot of damage in. It would be nice. So I go for the track shot. Unfortunately, repairs the track just as I track him, so I don't get any of the track assistance there, which is a shame. But that brings us then to replay number 2. You can see Panda and I had a both good game. I get over 5,000 damage, ace tanker and a high caliber. And yeah, Panda also does 5,000 damage. So between us, we've done sort of 10,000 damage for our team. So yeah, a good game there, bottom tier. But let's move on to the final replay of the video. Okay, so the final replay then is Steps, where we are solo. There is one enemy artillery in the game, but again, no enemy light tanks. And we are bottom tier again, so this is tier 10 matchmaking. But it just shows this tank can still be very capable, even though you are bottom tier. So we got, this is sort of the normal version of Steps, so we can actually play the 8-9 line on the right hand side in our mediums at the start. And thankfully, we have quite a lot of my teammates actually coming with me, which is good. That allows us to try and play a little bit more aggressively, so we can use these ridge lines and use our gun depression to try and spot enemy tanks and maybe get some assistance, and hopefully my friendly team actually move in with us and they don't stay too stationary and go back there. We get a lovely start to this game by spotting that enemy 50B and picking up 1,400 spotting assistance. So you know, sometimes it pays off for being that tank who takes the risk to go first and get that assistance, because you expect one going for his third mark of excellence now. Yeah, that's a big chunk, so I'm already well on the way, and I was pretty close at this stage to getting the third mark, I believe, anyway. So I just wanted to try and get in there and get as much out of this game as I can. So picked up a secondary pen there. We're going to try and move in on this Valor. Now our friendly tanks have come with us. This is good. It allows me to try and move forward and be more aggressive and just trap these enemy tanks in here. And I can only do that if my team move forward and come in and actually fight with us. And thankfully they have recognised that they have the overmatch, and that is what they're doing. So we get a nice shot into that medium tank as he leaves. Hopefully we can squeeze in one more. Should be able to there, which we do, which puts us on to just over 1,000 damage with 1,400 assistance. Get another secondary shot into the Valor. Valor again gets taken out, and now we're all just going to try and focus on this poor enemy heavy tank. I don't suspect he's going to last very long here. We try and go for the track shot and you know, pen him and also get a bit of track assistance. We don't track him, but we do pick up a couple of shots of damage, puts us on to just shy of 2,000 with 1,400 assistance. This is quite a fast-paced game considering we are bottom tier, and that's just basically because our team have come with us and played basically and allowed us to to pressure the enemy team. You know, like I say, I can only do that when I have support on my team, and thankfully we do have that. So I'm now going to try and move in and take advantage, and whilst the enemy E100 in the low ground is distracted by our heavy tanks on the right, that's going to allow me to sneak up around the side and get these side shots into the, you know, pen him quite easily on the side profile of the turret. We hopefully can even potentially get a shot into the drive wall here. We might be able to pick up a lot of track assistance. We don't track him in place there. We're going to try and do it again. This time we do track him in place, and we do start to pick up some track assistance here. And now we're going to try and get the kill shot into the rear of the turret. Picking up our first kill of the game, put us on to 3,000 damage, 2,000 assistance with 9 enemy tanks remaining. Enemy team are kind of trapped down the other side here, so we're going to just continue this push here. We do spot an enemy artillery. We know he is on the other side of the tracks there. We're going to try and get a shot into the medium tank as he leaves. Get a bit unfortunate that that shot misses. And I'm just trying to find out where the most of the enemy hit points are remaining, and I suspect it's further down the 1-2 line, sort of pushing towards our base. There's still a few heavy tanks remaining, and hopefully they are quite healthy, so I'm able to get over and get those shots in. Try and take a snapshot on that enemy medium tank on the move. You might as well, can't pen what you don't shoot. Unfortunately, it doesn't penetrate, but we're able to try and close the distance on these enemy heavy tanks. You can see there, we're just looking at our targets. Who has the most hit points? At this stage, we haven't lost any hit points. We're actually still full health, surprisingly. And that means we can just eat shots in order to get damage at the end. So it is really handy when you do have those hit points spare at the end of the game. Like I say, I don't mind just walking in front of something and just taking shots to get damage here, because obviously we're not going to need these hit points anymore. I'm going to get some more shots into this enemy Centurion there. He's trapped in the open. He's ammo racked as well, so we could potentially detonate his ammo rack, and if he gets taken out, we pick up a little bit more track assistance, 4,000 damage, and we have the rear of the last remaining IF-7 here. And yeah, it's been a complete sort of stomp for our team there. We've kind of pushed aggressively together down the 8-9 line. We go for the track assistance again, and yeah, we finished off with a really good game, and this is obviously the one where we complete the third mark of excellence, finishing that off with over 4,000 damage, 2,000 assistance and 1 kill. Yeah, and get the third mark of excellence and the ace tanker. So that's all for the replay today. Thank you so much for your amazing support. If you do like the channel, please remember to like and subscribe, because it really helps the channel out. And as always, happy tanking.
Enemy in sight! Hadouken!